Well, happy Sunday night, everyone. Here's proof that at the last possible minute we can just adapt and pivot and so one of our players is having a very busy, now I'm going to assume 3-week schedule. We're off in 2 weeks, so on the 13th we'll be off because I'll be out of town. And we had planned on playing a one-shot next Sunday, thinking that Tally wasn't going to be here. But it turns out that Tally can't be here tonight or next week. And also the following week, because she was like, thank God that I'm taking that day off, because she was super happy about that. Because then she didn't feel like she was missing too much. But like some of my other tables do, we have built alternate characters. And the fun part about these characters is that they are in the anthology of the main arc of the Crucible, only they've got other things going on within the world that allow them to kind of tell their own unique story. The other nice thing is we are using 2024 core rules with expanded rules indicated, and that is it. So these lovely, lovely people on screen get to play around with pure 2024 characters. And it's going to be interesting because I've actually got them starting at level 5 because your story arc characters are still level 2, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. After 8 sessions, I think.
Hey,
no, 7 sessions. After 7 sessions.
Today is 8.
Still, today would be 8. But this is actually going to be part 1 of a 2-part series of a one-shot called Foul Play. And I got to give Alexa and Ryan credit because, I got to give Alexa credit because she was right. I was wrong. I could have sworn Tally said that she was going to be available for tonight, but now I'm thinking back on it. I think she kind of stated that she was unsure about tonight, and it never got clarified in the Discord. But with that being said, I watched Alexa and Ryan put the finishing touches on their one-shot characters in 15 minutes, and that started about 20 minutes ago. So because they thought they had another week, to be fair, they thought they had another week, and it's totally fair. But as a recap to the world, to this place we call Jrusar, and the idea of what's going on in this place that's called Jrusar. We are in the time of 1025 post-divergence. The world has been shaped under numerous occurrences. There was the attempted rise of Vecna. And this began to shape a time period within a time period. Post-divergent, still reticent of the fact that after the gods supposedly had fled the world, this was the period of divergence. With Arcane falling into chaos, the Divine fleeing the world in order to save it from them, and protect their children, has put us in a very unique position. For many hundreds of years, nothing much had happened as the world was reestablishing itself. But more importantly, we then had the attempted rise of Vecna. Post-Vecna, PV, time period PV, is anywhere late 800s to the time period that we are now. Post-Vecna also introduced some other challenges, some other occurrences that were going on in the world. One most noticeable occurrence was another divergent occurrence, where a champion of Helm had successfully delivered an ancient artifact back to Helm himself and allowing the relic to be safely hidden away from those that might use it for ulterior purposes. And even a great temple of sorts, this great protruding rock that jets out of the sea in the middle of the Lucidian Sea, taking on the shape of a massive helm, as well as the figure of its champion kind of emblazoned into the side of the rock, marks this place of divergence. But with this added chaos, including the near success of lewdness and the destruction and rise of both the Unseelie and the Ruby Vanguard, there are those that feel that only through the unification can the world truly understand to find itself in an opportunity of safety. Here, Tal'Dorei and Amon have put together the unified Tal'Dorei Alliance. In Wildemont, the new queen of the Dwendals has made an alliance pact with the Kryn, including the Bright Queen. The only real remaining holdout, because the Dawn Marshals of Vasselheim had already kind of established their true understanding of divinity and have always felt that divinity is by far the most safest path to take. However, Marquet, being the most egregious of the landmasses and suffering the vast majority, second only to Wildemont, to the cataclysm of the warring gods, are the last holdouts, mostly because of the fractured nature of the city-states, the regions, the overall criminal enterprises and syndicates, as well as political environments kind of vying for power and control over the remains of Marquet. Somewhere in the middle of all this is the jewel of Marquet, a city known as Ank'Harel. Deep in this city, there are those that seek cause, and there are those that cause, well, unique turning points in the idea of what the world should and shouldn't be. In Jrusar, there's been an accident. The Ember Spire has blown up, and a small two-tiered chunk of the warehouse district, as well as some of the more noticeable manufacturing district, has suffered a calamity. In the background of this, a shadowy figure. They sit in the shadow of an arch covered in soot and the effects of flame. Their small form, they also tug on their tail with a bit of nervousness, not sure what to do. Scrat, describe yourself for everybody, if you would, please.
All right. Scrat Verminfire is a relatively small, like 4'5", 4'6", ratling, skaven, whatever you want to call him. He's a rat boy. He is incredibly skinny, like bordering on unhealthy looking, like just patchy gray fur, very long, thick whiskers, and a short, spiky mohawk, more out of like that's just the way his mane, for lack of a better word, grows. He's wearing just absolutely ragged cloak that's been patched together from God knows how many things, and he's, well, a coward. He doesn't like doing pretty much anything that involves direct confrontation, but he is a incredible sharpshooter. So that's what the guilds employ him for. He kind of gets to stay out of harm's reach and, poke at people from a distance.
Covered in ash and cooling embers, a tallish individual leans against the wall, breathing heavily, looking down the tattered remains of the building that was kind of the point of the investigation, the whole point of being here. Watching a year's work quite literally go up in flames, all the evidence, all the proof, simply gone. Zodran, describe what you look like.
Zodran currently is a bit dirtier than he likes to be. He tends to stick to the shadows and stay in the back, as any good spider watching its prey. He's average height for a half-elf, though the purplish tinge to his skin tends to put others off, because it does mark him for being half-drow, not just his affinity for the arachnids. He wears a leather armor with what looks like the mandibles of a large spider coming down the center of the chest, with red stones glowing for the eyes. It's a dark gray-black color trimmed in a almost noxious green. But he carries around with him a crystal stone that he can lock into his shield. The crystal stone is his star chart, and as a Circle of the Stars druid, this is his connection to his powers and ability. So when he really gets in a pinch that he can't talk his way out of or fight his way out of, he may pull out the stone and transform into something new. But that is more for special occasions, and right now it's just smolder and fire and embers.
Third person sits wearily on the edge of a charred crate. They appear slightly distraught in the same way that Zodran does. All that work, all that effort, and no luck. Watching as the cooling embers and cooling gray smoke build off in the environment. It's been 3 days now since the fire. And even after the third day, the place is still unusually warm and smolders a bit deeper down here in the spire. Deep in this second truncheon level of where you had hoped to finally gather the necessary information. Hanging their head between their hands, wondering what to do, wondering where Fabian is. Elegon, describe yourself.
Elegon is a high elf. He has long black hair, very pale skin. He's very skinny. His movements are relatively graceful. He's wearing like a nice bureaucrat's robe, like a blue velvet, and he is he looks very out of place in this location. He's sort of a mid to low level bureaucrat at the Chandei Quorum with aspirations to go much higher.
All three of you hear soft footsteps, a soft voice, and strangely enough, that familiar kind of rosewater lavender perfume with a slight hint of burgundy wine kind of nestled in the air. As well, Fabian, what do you look like as you enter the area that the others are in?
I'm a tall, extremely beautiful man. Glowing gold hair. My robes are colorful and shimmering. You might be mystified by them. Around my neck is a small flute that I'll use to enchant people as they come through my shop. And I also carry a glower with me if I really need to make myself known among the streets or in my shop.
The four of you take a moment. The smell. This was supposed to be the place that you were going to meet up with someone that goes by the name of Solara. She was supposed to provide you with the evidence that you needed. The Hubatt Corsairs have been driven to ground by the war that they now engage with. Not only the Wardens, who are corrupt, but also an unknown guild entity that seems to have yet to reveal itself. At first, the Hubatt Corsairs thought that maybe it was the Treshies. And then they were mistaken and thought maybe it was House Loomis, but it wasn't House Loomis. And then suddenly realizing that not even the Ivory Syndicate might have been involved, it would appear this particular person. Zadran, as you unfold the piece of paper in your hand, it is an anonymous message from somebody. All it seems to mention is someone that might go by the name of Regina Green, and something about a possible threat due to them being a changeling. While this message was gifted to you without your knowledge of who it came from, you suspect that the deliverer of this message, a small halfling who did not give you their name, yet was never seen again. The four of you linger in the debris hallway, staring into what's once used to be this cavernous warehouse factory floor that Solara was mixing this new liquid explosive that she was working on, based on an order that was given to her from somebody from the Hellcatch Valley. At first, you thought it was this person that was linked to the Wardens, but turns out it just simply wasn't. The interior of the space is strewn with debris, rocks, the smell of cinder and cooling embers, but it's vast. For three of you, working with Zadran on many occasions, never really caring where the pay comes from. For Fabian, it's more about the connection that Zadran has made. For Elegon, it's all about the bureaucracy. For Scrat, it's just another paycheck. Where's my gold coming from? Gotta pay my bills. But the four of you have worked together before. Zadran, the Hubatt Corsairs are in a bit of a bind. They need to figure out who's responsible for this. They need to understand how this happened. And already the memory of you sitting in front of the aerial spire and watching the flames billow out and watching as you realized that if something has happened to her, the whole case may fall apart. But now with the Hubatt Corsairs run to ground, it would appear that this is the only lead remaining to you to try to figure out what has happened, where'd she go, and who the hell commissioned such a volatile alchemical substance in the heart of Jrusar.
He kind of puts his hands on his temples. Weeks of work up in smoke. My web has been torn asunder. Scrap.
Yeah.
How long have you been around in this area? Were you here before the explosion? I was in the Airy Spire.
Okay, first off, who the fuck's asking? What are you, a cop? Why do you need to? What the fuck do you need to know this now, boy?
He runs his hand out and his spider spider companion kind of rolls out his arm and kind of starts to run a web down towards Scrat.
You gonna eat that?
Scrat, don't make them angry. It doesn't ever end well for you. We need to find where Solara has gone, or whether any of her remains are still here.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you, man. Like, all I know is I was sitting on top of a rooftop, like we just finished a hit on a guy, and the giant fucking Warforged came in here. He murdered us. What was? Ah, God, he was a newbie. The new guy you hired. Larry Smirkle. That guy's dead. He impaled him on a goddamn fence post. I hadn't even made it up to myself. Like, what do you mean? Like, how long have I been here, man?
Do you think?
We're all extremely sorry about your friend, but I have to make dinner at 6:15. So if we could just keep this moving, that would be great.
Fabian, so nice of you to grace us with your presence.
I have my mouth full as he talks to me as I'm chugging wine out of a pouch.
Does the scent of cinders and burnt flesh affect your constitution?
Well, I will say it's quite disgusting. And it's doing terrible things to my robes, but I'm sure I can have these fixed up in no time.
Yeah, that's the last thing on my mind right now.
It's not the last thing on my mind, but maybe you should start paying more attention to things like that.
When was the last time either of you, Elegon or Fabian, had contact with Solara?
When was the last time Is it Solara or is it Sarai?
Sorry, Sarai.
Oh,
Right. I got my S's confused.
Gotcha. When was the last time that we had contact with Sarai?
Because Solara was the bard in the
right,
Fire
yeah.
by Fire. Yeah. Sarai, the tiefling. I would say the last contact you guys had would have been probably a week or so ago.
Okay.
And I would say Zodrin was hoping to confirm some information with Sarai in regards to something she was working on.
I haven't spoken to her in over a week. It seems obvious based on the blast radius here that she has been absolutely destroyed. But I'd like to quickly investigate to see if there's anything else that I can collect as evidence and bring back. The Chandei Quorum is anxious to wrap this up.
Give me an investigation check as you start kind of walking into the detritus and remains of the debris pile of the massive structure, and you begin to see if you could find anything.
Guys, this is the best intelligence a character I've played has ever had. Don't mess this up for me, Dice.
I'm gonna go in and look for.
I got that one. So that's an 8.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I mean, that's very sad. I'm sorry, very sad.
Steps on a hot
Yeah,
coal.
I mean, from your perspective, Elgon, everything's been burnt, everything's gone.
This place is closed.
closed. Yeah, this is nothing here.
Zorton's gonna walk in and look for some explosions make a big mess, but if she knew she was working with something this volatile, surely she had some sort of a contingency plan. So he's going in looking, trying to perceive signs of escape or signs of different damage, maybe, if that's...
Yeah. Give me your survival check.
Survival? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 17.
17. Looking around, you can tell in certain areas of the structure that the blast and heat of the outcome were far more severe at these 8 locations within the structure. Get the feeling this might be where she was actually working on the chemicals, the alchemicals themselves. You can even see twisted metal work tables that are so disfigured and so heavily damaged. This feels like the heart of the blast. But what's strange is standing in that location, looking over at where Fabian is kind of having a conversation with Elegon and about not really finding anything. And where they're standing, there's hardly any source of fire. It's the residual remains of the explosion here. But the journey down into this part of the spire tells you that the fire should have spread to this point. This fire never made contact with the warehouse. This place blew for another reason.
Elegon, Come here.
All right, I'll make my way over.
As he brings Elegon over, I'll start like pointing out. I have my hands like creepily on your shoulder because arachnid, like his hands are like he's not resting his hand on your shoulder. It's like the fingertips are on your shoulder, right?
Mine just shuddered.
And he like points around. He's like, "What do you see here? See the fire, all of this blast." And he like turns you around until we get to the point where there's like where the blast ends and the fire ended, so there was like separation between them.
That's odd.
Indeed.
So what? Someone else here set off the blast?
Well, this blast certainly wasn't related to the fire.
And we've checked for bodies around here, right? We haven't found anyone in this building. I assume you've had some of your men do that.
Well, we got in as close as we could, but we are several days on now from the blast itself. Would Zordra know that like fire ganassi have some resistance to fire? Not that someone would necessarily survive an explosion, but
I mean, they are known to calmly work within fire exposed areas. They are kind of known to be good handlers of fire based chemicals because of their nature to deal with them. Mm-hmm. To survive a physical blast like this would be pretty impossible.
Right.
But she definitely wouldn't be the source of the blast. That wouldn't make much sense.
Right. Yeah. The Sarai I knew was a lot more careful around these kind of things.
But
yes,
I don't think you were listening to me. You remember I got my buddies and I got attacked by a gigantic goddamn warforged, like right by what was that bakery? It's on the tip of my tongue. It was. We had some friends in the business that these innocent people don't need to know about. The pink stuff.
Yes,
that
Scrat.
stuff.
Scrat, Elegon and Fabian are hardly innocent. Maybe Fabian. But Elegon, come now, we all play the game.
No need to keep secrets here.
Oh, well, I'm pretty. You know that those narcotics that we're making, the explosive narcotics. Just saying. Just
Oh my God. Eric, your husband just laughed. That was awesome. Explosive narcotics? Yeah. Yeah. We call that nose pop rocks. Yeah, they're the best. Elegon, ever the bureaucrat. Now this is serious.
I think Elegon is probably looking around to see if there are any of those explosives left.
I don't know. I didn't formulate them, dear.
What'd you say, Elegon?
I think Elegon is probably looking around to see if there are any of those explosives left, or if they are all completely gone.
Yeah, you can give me either a Arcana,
okay,
or a Nature check. Your choice.
Okay, all right.
Fabian.
Yes.
As you seem so put off with the sights and smells here, perhaps you might check the streets and see if there's anyone suspicious standing by who might have seen something and hasn't spoken up yet.
Yes.
You do have such a way with words.
Yes, of course. I appreciate you using my services.
As it's funny to have Zodran say that because, like, looking at Fabian, he's immaculate, and he's carrying a wine and glass. So it's like
Right.
anyone who looks suspicious.
Right. You know. I say, why are you? like in the middle of a
My
drink.
lips are just permanently are purple.
Yeah.
Lips are permanently purple.
Like that's what he does. That's how he keeps them that lush shade of purpley red, right?
They're
Literally a lot.
Why?
Yeah, they're a form of Botox. What'd you get, Elegant? And what'd you roll?
I got a 15 Arcana.
Okay. The residual edge of the blast that Zadran had showed you have a strange coloration about them. You kind of lean down and you kind of smudge the edge of the purple and yellow coloration as you recognize something called arcane powder.
Ooh.
This is an enchantment powder made of ground diamonds, and especially kind of like made type of diamonds to infuse high levels of increase of arcane energy. Sarai was messing with something that became volatile, too volatile for her to control. Whatever she had added to it had caused the explosion. You begin to look at the different impacts and you realize each of those 8 locations have that accentuated yellow and purple ashen ring.
Mm-hmm.
Either somebody added it to it after the fact or she did, but adding this arcane powder appears to have destabilized whatever she built and caused them to individually explode.
This is, I'll stick a finger in it and hold it up. This is arcane powder. This is extremely volatile, expensive stuff. I thought Sarai was a good artificer, but this is stupid. This is too risky.
It's quite disgusting looking too, that color.
I don't know. I think purple and yellow, those are nice colors, or
Kind
no?
of expensive though, isn't it?
Extremely.
Very expensive.
Well, Chandei Quorum friend, do tell. I hear you may or may not have been trafficking in some rather expensive spell components.
I certainly have no knowledge of Sarai making use of this powder, and I am not sure that it went through the appropriate channels.
Sarai, I wasn't talking about Sarai. I was talking about the quorum itself.
The Quorum's business is confidential, soldier.
Sure. Sure.
And usually it's run through triplicate forms, so no clue.
You have
Like-
to triple stamp the double stamp. You can't.
Yeah, double stamp triplicate. Yeah. Yeah. There's a constant rubber stamp machine behind every counter.
Well,
You guys hear a noise coming from the back of the destroyed warehouse, like somebody tripped over something.
I'm going to wild shape into a spider.
Large or normal size?
Slightly larger than normal. Like
Okay.
I'm like more tarantula than like a skittering. little-
Immediately screams and stomps on you.
and I will take off back there. So you see the larger me and my companion spider both going towards the noise, stealthily. But I mean, as we're spiders, it's also
Give me stealth check with
kind
advantage.
of would be there, right?
Yeah, well, you can give me stealth check with advantage, and you're ignoring difficult terrain, so it's terrain that you're comfortable with.
How about a 21?
Okay. What are the rest of you doing after hearing the noise and
I'm gonna,
seeing Zadran change and skitter off in the direction of the noise?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a 18. I'm sorry. Had the
Okay.
wrong modifier.
The run sheet out. All right. I want to just motion to both Elegant and Fabian, just like stay there, and I want to slink off, trying to get to the same rough place as Sorzen. Preferably if there's like some boxes that I could peek my head around, like look around corners. I'm trying to get to the same place by a different path.
It's more debris piles, but give me a stealth check for starters as you slink away.
Go nice, almost. That is, are you a 9 or a 6? I gotta figure that out. That is a 17.
17. I was gonna say it'd been funny if it was a 6 because you just
No,
told
no, that
Fabian
was-
and Elegon to shush.
No, that was. I have a very high stealth skill, but I'm leaning into my mystical click clack rocks at this point.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
guys
couldn't
watch
tell those-
as Scrat goes shh, and then immediately slinks away from you, heading towards a nearby debris pile that's slightly up higher and off to the left, but in the same general direction that Zadran just went. What are you two doing?
Elegon had no intention of investigating this noise. I'm going to look over at Fabian and be like, I've had a robe on back order for about 5 weeks.
Yeah. That was quite
All right.
the.
D6 inspiration for that one, Elegon. That was brilliant.
It's quite
That
the
was
special
really
project.
brilliant.
I don't know what you can really expect.
I don't feel like I'm being prioritized.
I believe you are being prioritized, but you're not the only person I deal with every day.
Both Zadran and Scrat can hear this conversation. Like, the two of you are stealthy up towards the noise, and all you hear is Elegon and Fabian discussing a back-ordered guard here. Zadran, you get there first, however, as you're skittering across the rubble pile, and you look over, and you can see the outline of a figure hiding behind a rock pile. You can see that they had tripped over part of a twisted metal remains of a bench because it's freshly turned over. There's a fresh puff of ash and like disturbed, burnt smoke and ember around the area. At that moment, out of the left corner of your eye, you can see Scrat has gone up to a higher debris pile to look down in the direction that you're currently kind of going towards. And you can hear the figure breathing, just like.
So, as I'm like, my pet spider will approach, and I'll stay kind of off back in the back a little bit.
Okay.
But I can speak though, in my wild shape.
Yes, you can. Welcome to 2024 Druids.
Right. So the small spider is going to approach, and I'm going to say, "Who do we have here?"
Persuasion or intimidation?
I mean, he's just curious. He's not necessarily trying to scare them right now, but let's go persuasion with this one.
Okay.
That's an 8, though.
8.
Yeah.
The shadowy figure, kind of covered in ash and dust. Who said that? Hello? Who said that?
I will. Let me double check the wording on this real quick before I make the decision what I'm going to do next. But I think. Oh no, that's when I'm in that form. Okay, yeah. Then I will. I'm just going to just a little spider investigating what he thought might be dinner. Here's your
And you watch his hand come down at you, like the small figure screams in terror. You just see a large hand come down towards you. It hits you. Well, I rolled a 22 to hit.
Yeah, well, but the spider is the one that's close. I'm back farther away.
That's fair. It thinks the spider that's close
gonna-
is talking.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's gonna hit that, and yeah, it definitely hits.
2 points.
No, it's dead. So
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it's a flat spider.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't very nice.
As
Like
soon as,
screams at its own hand, gets up and starts running away.
I'll pop
As-
out of spider form, like into.
Scrat, you see a figure running across the back side of the warehouse.
was
I'm
I able to see him smash Sorzan?
No, it's like you're just now seeing them get up and start running and screaming.
Okay. Can I draw a bead on them and try to do a disabling shot?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So what is that? Is a
Please roll a
That's
natural
eight.
one. Please roll a natural one. Please roll a natural one.
not too far off. I rolled a 4, so that is an 12.
A 12. You draw a bead and you mean to catch him in the leg, and you catch him in the shoulder instead. That's their armor class, 12. And you slam him in the shoulder. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. So let's go ahead. And
I'm giving chase at this point also. Like I've
that is 10 total damage.
Okay.
Question, because what is it? Let me find my sneak attack thing. What was that feature? 'Cause I'm not, can I use my steady aim to give myself advantage on that hit?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, so let me re-roll that.
Yeah, feel free.
So what was the first one? Was like a 12?
14.
Okay.
No, it was a
so
12, yeah, because that was his
12,
armor
yeah.
class, 12.
Right. Okay, I re-rolled that. It is a 21.
21,
because I
that's
had
more
the-
accurate. Elegon and Fabian, you hear a shot go off. And you hear somebody had started screaming, and then you heard Scrat's rifle go off. And then nothing. Silence.
If I got a 21, I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to.
Oh, I
disable
know.
him.
I know. Zadran, you saw the silhouette collapse to the ground.
Yeah, I'm running to the silhouette. Yeah.
Okay. As you go scrambling, what are Elegon and Fabian doing after hearing the shot?
Is it taken care of?
Oh my God! Will you two shut the fuck up?
Zadran, as you roll up on the figure on the ground, it is an unconscious goblin. Their skin is heavily blistered. Their clothes look to have been severely burnt and charred. They're about maybe 2.5, 3 feet in height. They're got a rough backpack over their shoulder. They're just wearing simple clothing that looks to be damaged by burns. However, the strapped to their belt is a nice leather bag with Sarai's guild stamp on the bag.
I'm going to relieve him of that and his backpack, and then tie him up before I use a healing word or spare the dying.
Okay.
Which one would be more appropriate at this point?
Well, spare the dying just stabilizes them. Just makes it.
I don't. Okay, so I'll spare the dying.
Okay.
And because the point is just to slightly wake them up so we can have a conversation.
Okay.
Elegon will mosey over if it seems like the situation's,
Seems
well
like
in
it. Scrat's kind of sitting up there, soldier style with the gun on his knee and looking down. Zadran's hovering over the still form on the ground and kind of tying their ankles, tying their wrists, just to make sure that they can't, run off.
I'll pass the bag and the backpack, the leather pouch and the backpack. I'll pass those back to you as you're approaching.
Okay, I'll take a look through them.
I'm gonna go check out to see if the shot registered anyone in the area, kind of coming.
Yeah,
if it caused any sort of alarm.
Yeah. So as you watch Elegon go get caught up with Zadran, you head out of the hallway of the front of the warehouse and out onto the street. The street is still strewn with debris, but for the most part, the bodies and everything have been dealt with and carted off. You kind of look up the street and down the street. You could, a skiff passes by overhead. There's still one of the airships tethered over to the damaged platform by where the gondola was. Most of the activity seems to be over by the gondola, as they're still kind of staging the few remaining bodies that they found, post catastrophe, which is only 1 or 2, because they've finally gotten deep into the rubble pile, and they're very much busy. Look both ways. Give me a perception check as you kind of double check the streets.
It is a 17.
17. You catch the image of 2 cloaked individuals kind of in the shadows of a nearby destroyed structure. They seem to be staring in your direction, and as soon as you see them and they notice you seeing them, they kind of fade into the debris pile, and you lose track of them. They're maybe about 80 feet off to your right, near another destroyed building.
I'm going to go back inside and communicate this all to the party. Like, hey, there's some weirdos out there, I'll tell you that much.
Just a smolder spire.
Saucy.
What did you see? I mean, she's got a
I saw two cloaked guys. I don't know. They were just, they kind of looked at me, they saw me, and they kind of just faded off into the distance. Well, everyone else seems to be helping each other or trying to get the people out of here and clear the rubble. They seemed a little suspicious, but I couldn't get a good read on them necessarily, and I don't necessarily want to approach them alone, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Well, let me see if I can wake my friend here up, and perhaps you can ask him why they were watching.
Elegant, you now have the bag and the backpack. Give me investigation as you start rummaging around both.
Okay.
Well, Zadran's getting this goblin back to consciousness.
Okay. That's a 15 plus 7 is 22.
Nice. And the small leather bag with Sarai's guild emblem on it, the flaming emblem with the smithy fire behind it, that is filled with 3 sample vials. One vial you instantly recognize as arcane dust, the powder that's used to enhance magical means of its use. The other vial is a black liquid, and then the third vial is like a grayish green kind of powder. Neither one looked familiar to you. You then check the backpack he had, and it's mostly filled with traveling kit, things that you would need if you were traveling or out and about. Except at the very bottom of the backpack is Sarai's journal.
Ooh.
And you kind of recognize that it's a formulation journal. This seems to have the alchemical recipes that she was working on. This goblin's in possession of Sarai's stuff, and it appears to be stuff that she would use to fabricate these alchemical components.
Either this goblin stole this, or he is closely acquainted with Sarai's work.
Well,
Grill him.
perhaps we can find out. So I'm trying to rouse him. He's not going to die now, but he's tied up, and I'm trying to bring him to consciousness.
Okay. Healing word?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll buzz a healing word at him, so that'll give him at first level. So that's... I don't want to use the good stuff, right? But it is a 4, so that's... Hang on.
That's pretty good.
Right, so that's 9 hit points.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it's 2d4. So, sorry. That make that 11 hit points.
Oh, that's like more than he lost, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
His condition tells you that he was already pretty worse off, but
Right.
kind of
So,
actually
yeah,
watch as some of the blister skin kind of heals. There's the goblin's eyes flutter a bit, looks up to see Zadran hovering over, and then looks over to see Elegon and Fabian, and kind of winces with the pain in his shoulder that's kind of fully recovered, and he's unable to move that much, his ankles and wrists being bound, so he can't run. He just oh shit.
I use charm person on him.
All right, wisdom save. That's definitely going to fail. Oh, hi.
Well, young man, it seems to have been some sort of accident. There was a stray bullet in all this chaos that seemed to have struck you.
It's
We're
okay.
here to help. We're here to
It
help.
happens all the time.
Yes,
It's
yes.
okay.
It's sorry you're bound. It's a very
Who-
distressing time right
Who
now.
are you? You're gorgeous. You're my friend, right?
I
We're
get that
friends.
told- Yes, of course we are. Of course we are. And I slip him a business card too for my
His hands
shop.
are bound, and you're like, take it. Oh, thank you.
So
Hello.
we're just trying to help out around here. Can you tell me what you were, doing around here, and can you explain some of these contents?
Oh,
to us?
yes. I was looking for my mistress's possessions. She had always said that if anything ever happened to her, that I should do my best to recover what I could, and then take whatever I could find to a friend of hers. I think he goes by the name of Crimp.
So you're not stealing these?
No, I'm stealing them for her. I'm just doing what she told me to do. They're hers. They belong to her. I don't know what happened to her, but at the end of the day, I'm stealing them because she told me to protect them. So, if you're not given permission, you're just so beautiful.
Yes, I know. I
Such a
hear it all the
beautiful-
time, but it never always continues.
Okay. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'd love
Oh,
to.
no. Are you going to finish that wine? I'm really thirsty.
Oh, yes, you can have some. There's nothing. How about we have
Oh.
a toast?
Elegon.
Sure. Hands
Elegon,
bound.
is
I
there
drink a little bit of wine.
anything? Are there any notes in that notebook of perhaps mixing this mixture you spoke of earlier with the arcane dust and the mixture? Are there any notes in there of that being something Sarai was trying to do?
I'll do a quick scan through the journal to see if I can pick that up.
Yeah, just give me a good old-fashioned intelligence check.
All right.
Roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifier to it.
That's a nat 1, so that's going to be a 5.
Nope. Everything looks complicated with chemical inscriptions and something about monochloruric sulfuric acid and phosphate, and none of it makes any sense. But you don't necessarily want Zodran to know that.
This journal is obviously child's play, but I should take some time to review to confirm.
Is Scrap convinced?
Oh,
by
you're
that
still up on the
at
debris
all?
pile, keeping an eye on.
Oh, I
things.
haven't moved. Okay, I got you.
I mean, you can move if you want.
No. I think Scrat's gonna play sentry.
Goblin,
Give me-
your name, please.
Oh, my name's Meep.
Meep.
Yeah, Meep.
And Meep, what were you doing at the time of the explosion?
Well, I believe I was thrown across the room at the time of the explosion.
And what caused the explosion in this location?
Fire usually causes things to blow up. Yeah, it was fire.
Fire
Yeah.
from where? We can tell that the
I'm-
fire had not spread to this location.
Oh, you could tell that? Oof. Look, I told her, I said, if you put that in there and the ratios are wrong, it's going to be bad. But, she double checked and she triple checked her figures. Shouldn't have been wrong. It should have actually, how I think about it, I think it should have actually worked. It shouldn't have done that. She had put some, he points towards the bag that you collected from him.
Mhm.
She put some of that powder in there. And then it began to fuse into its liquid mass. She was actually in the process of taking some samples to do her own tests. And all she did, she yelled at me to run. And as I started running, I thought maybe I saw her run too, but I don't remember which way she'd gone or even if she made it as far as I did. But yeah, it just, it just really, blew up. And I got tossed into the walls. I think I was out for quite a while. And I spent the last, 2 days here trying to find her stuff. And unfortunately, her journal and those samples were the only things I could find that were left of her. I couldn't find anything left of her at all, which is either she never made it away and she just got vaporized, or somehow she got out. She's gone, but I haven't had any luck finding her.
This
Scrat, give me a perception check if you would, please, Scrat.
All right.
Go ahead, Elegon.
This arcane dust is an extremely volatile compound. Why would she take the risk of including it? Was she given instructions by someone? Where did she obtain this?
I believe she said the original person that issued the commission of the order had recommended that she experiment with it, and she was actually given a sizable amount by this person that placed the order for the explosives. And her small experiments worked quite well. She was convinced that you could add this and take very small amounts of explosive material, and they could behave 100 times more effectively. What'd you get, Scrat?
23.
Okay.
Oof.
Pretty good.
So yeah, I still don't know who ordered this stuff for her.
You must have seen something. You must have seen her speaking to them, seen some correspondence. What do you know?
Well, they would deliver messages via the Rook.
Rook.
Where the ravens come and settle. At the Rook, you can send and receive messages by Raven. She would go there every morning to pick up the messages or correspondence that were going on. She would never really reveal any of that to me. We would just kind of, she'd read the message and then she'd make alterations to her formula and she'd try again and fail. And about 5 days ago, 2 days before the explosion, she'd gotten a pretty exciting message. She did her experiments. Everything worked perfectly. And it's just kind of what we were working on at the time of the explosion. It finally,
Hey, Charles.
the chemical had finally done what she needed it to do, and she was pretty happy about it.
Where would Sarai have gone following the explosion if she didn't return here? Did she have a safe house? Did she have a friend?
That's a good question. She mentioned who did she mention? She mentioned somebody she knew that went by the name of Ariana, and could, if anything went really bad, to either look for that person or seek her out at the what was that House Noble? I think seek her out at House Maysoon. Evidently, she had a relationship with someone that went by the name of Serafina Maysoon. But I can't go there. I mean, I can't even get to that part of the spire. Scrat, you can see somebody belly crawling, like they're on their belly. They're crawling into the open debris-strewn hallway, and they're trying to get an angle on Fabian, Elegon, and Zodran as they're questioning the goblin on the ground. You can see their shoulder, the upper part of their head. And you can see this long-barreled, kind of like rifle-like weapon coming up and like just kind of taking its time to aim in their direction.
I'm absolutely going to try to take a shot at them.
Yeah, you kind of bring your gun up and you pull the trigger. Go ahead and make a roll.
All right. So are we calling that another sneak attack?
Yeah, I think so. They didn't see you up there.
All right. What is that?
Which means you have advantage.
Yeah, I got that. That is a 17.
17 will hit. Roll for damage.
Okay. Let me double check because I have some stuff I can do with a sneak attack. I want to see if I want to do any of them. Where are you? Okay. I would like to use one of my sneak attack die that I have for a poison attack.
Okay.
So I've already hit. So he takes he has a DC 16 con save, and he is poisoned for 10 minutes. It doesn't actually tell me damage on that, but I think poison knocks you prone. So I get to roll 2d6 for sneak attack damage.
Doesn't knock you
Not
prone.
Or it
That puts you under the poison effect.
Yep.
right.
Which is disadvantage on ability and attack rolls.
Correct.
All right. He made up. This made.
Are
me
you
know
thinking
that
of your weapon mastery for the rifle?
It's not that. It's give it back because my cat alarm just went off. But it's one of the features for scout. My class is when I do a sneak attack, which this was.
Yeah.
I can use one of my 3d6 damage to either what is this thing? I can trip him, I can withdraw from combat, or I can poison one of the d6.
Okay.
So for the sneak attack, I get
Which means it does d6 poison damage.
No,
Fails,
it's
he's poisoned, right?
yeah. It's not that. It's a mechanic. Like I get 3 extra d6 for sneak attack damage.
Okay.
But I can apply one of those and either trip them, I can withdraw from combat, or I can give them a DC 16 poison.
They got a 9 on the con save, so they're poisoned.
So, yeah, they're poisoned, and I get to do my full damage on that. I actually rolled a 25 on damage plus 2d6. Like, is it even worth it to roll the d6?
Yeah, go for it.
I didn't actually leave 2d6 out. I didn't think I did too. That is 8 plus 25, so 33 damage.
Nice.
Ooh.
You watch as they take the shot in the side of the shoulder and the neck. It sends them spinning out of the position that they were in, and kind of they you can see like their cloak kind of spins away, and you can see a partially it's like a dual face. The face on the left is like this perfect looking human face, and the face on the right is this disfigured looking like plague face. And you can see blood kind of spurting out of their shoulder and where their clavicle area is. And to your right, Scrat, you hear a crack as a rifle shot goes off to your right. 22 to hit.
Ooh.
Scrat, what's your armor class?
Scrat is 17. Like, can you give me a couple minutes? I gotta do some stuff with my cat. So
yeah,
that hits. That's a 16.
Okay. All right, that's going to be 19 points of piercing damage. For the three of you hovering over this goblin, you look up to see Scrat leaning against the rubble and took a shot. And then off to Scrat's right, you hear a crack of another rifle shot, and Scrat spins, gets shot. You can see a little spray of like fur and flesh as he kind of drops to one knee.
Ooh.
What are you three doing?
I could still see him,
You can see Scrat. Yeah, you can still see him.
but not the shooter.
Not the shooter. You're looking around. They might be on the other side of the debris pile that Scrat was on top of, and that might be why you can't see them. You want to try to move and see if you can see them get even with the debris pile?
I would like to try to stealthily do that.
Yeah, give me a stealth check as you start sneaking up towards the edge of the debris pile.
That is a 19.
Nice. You guys watch as Fabian very smoothly just kind of picks their way through the debris and rubble. Fabian, you get to the top. Give me a perception check, if you would, please.
That is a 21.
21. You could see a shadowy figure behind a bit of collapsed stone, like they're leaning into it. And you watch as they pull back the hammer on their rifle, and they're aiming at Scrat.
I'm going to use command
Okay.
and try to command them to drop the weapon.
Wisdom save?
Wisdom save.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
Yeah, he saves.
Yeah, as you command, they react to you. They react to the feeling of the spell kind of slamming into them, the auditory presence as you call down, and you watch as they point a gun up towards you, pull the trigger. You have half cover. That's definitely going to miss. The round ricochets like in front of the debris pile right in front of you. Zadrin and Elegant, what are you two doing as you hear this going on?
I'm currently looking for beast shapes real quick. I thought there would be an easier way to get a table, but it's convoluted to get a beast shape, so sorry.
I will cast Mage Armor.
Okay.
And then I'll sort of strafe in behind Fabian and maybe try and shoot a chromatic orb at this guy.
Yeah, you hustle up to where Fabian ducked underneath the ricochet shot as it had gone off one of the debris rocks. You get to the edge. You can see the figures now currently. They've got the hammer pulled back. They're blowing on their weapon and like cleaning it out. They're like in the process of reloading their weapon.
Okay. All right. They're within 90 feet of me, I presume. So I'm going to hurl an orb of energy at this target. I will use acid damage, and I have to make a ranged spell attack.
Yep, go for it.
Right. 12 plus 7 is a 19.
That will just hit because they did have partial cover. You watch as the energy of the orb is unleashed, crackles along their body.
Okay. And it's, let's see, it's 3d8. So, or no, wait, it's 4d8. Oh, I rolled 3 1s and a 2.
Oh, that's what you get for rolling D&D Beyond.
I shouldn't have done it. So that's 5 points of damage.
Just out of curiosity, do me a favor, roll your real dice, see if it's
Okay.
any different.
All right. What does a d8 look like? This is a d8.
Looks like a dreidel, like a
This
spin
one?
top. Yep, that's it.
Okay, all right. So that would be. Oh no, this can't be right because this has got a 6 and a 9 on it.
Oh, that's a D10.
Yeah.
Well, that's too many diamond shapes. Yeah, you want the 8-sided diamond.
Looks like a big 8-sided diamond.
Oh yes.
That's a-
Okay. All right. I know what I'm working with now. Okay.
That's a big F-U, Zadrin.
1 plus 5 plus 6 plus 1, so it would be 13.
13 versus a 5.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with that 13. Lesson learned.
Thank you. All right. So
As the
that's
orb crackles across him. You then, you settle next to Fabian. The two of you crouch down. Out of the corner of your eye, Elegant, you watch as someone steps out of the shadow. They raise like a black powder pistol up towards you. You can see their hood flurry back, half grotesque face, half like human face. They shoot the pistol up at you. You'll have half cover, so you got +2 to your armor class. That is going to be a 17 to hit. What's your armor class, Elegant?
Oh, me? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that'll definitely hit.
Okay. Well,
Even
you're
with
under
your
half cover.
shield too, right?
So I have my armor class is 13. So half cover is +2, right?
Yeah. And
No,
your armor
it's-
class
What
is
about your
13
mage
because
armor?
of mage armor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You feel the flat of the lead ball puncture your shoulder area. It kind of spins you slightly to the left as you take 12 points of piercing damage.
All right.
that would end an air trio.
That would have ended air trio. So with that, did we have Zadrin go yet?
No, I haven't gone yet.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, Fabian and Elegon are up on the edge of the debris pile. Scrat is recovering from the shot. Zadrin, what do you do?
I am going to use my starry form,
Okay.
and I'm going to go to the archer form. So Zadrin, his skin goes like midnight, what sparkles with constellations, and there's the constellation of an archer appears on his form. I now glow with bright light where I am, within 10 feet of where I am, I believe it says.
Okay.
And then I forgot what the dim light, whatever, for the next 20 feet after that.
Yeah.
And with that, I am going to use my luminous arrow, which
Now
is
you're below the debris pile at this point.
Or, well, I guess I'm gonna.
Up
Sorry,
to
I'm
the
gonna.
edge.
Sorry. Well, yeah, I'll move to where I can see
Okay.
the guy that shot the guy that Scratch shot at.
Gotcha.
Oh.
That's going to take you to the left. So with Scrat being at the very tall of the pile, Fabian and Elegant slightly to the right, you shift over to the left, and you now have a vantage point on the one that Scrat shot. And this guy looks rough. Like he's barely recovering from the shot. He's kind of sliding up towards another chunk of rock to hide behind. Like he's just kind of moving in hopes of getting extra cover. But you got a pretty good beat on him.
Okay. I see. I think since I took my starry form, that's my bonus action. So I have my action left right now.
It's narrative, so you're good. Just say what
gotcha.
you want to do.
All right. I was going to use. Yeah. Right. Then I'll use the archer's thing. What the hell is it called? I just passed it. Sorry.
I know it's your character. Bro.
Luminous arrow. There we go. Yeah. Luminous arrow.
Okay.
It's, 1d8 plus 5 radiant damage, but it's essentially like I am firing a luminous arrow at him from my archer form. So
okay, go for it.
A 24 to hit.
That'll definitely hit. Roll for damage.
Yep. And grab the 8-sided diamond. Rolled an 8, so that's 13 radiant damage.
You watch as your luminescent arrow just strikes him square into the temple, just through the eye, blowing out the back of his head with a little bit of flesh dangling. The form goes limp and lies limp onto the ground. Scrap. As you just watch Zodran take out the guy that you nearly finished off, to your right, you can see another rifle person that just taken a shot at Fabian. And then to 30 feet to Elegon's right, you can see that someone stepped out of the dark, kind of the dark cover of the debris and raised a pistol and took a shot at him. There's at least 2 targets that you can currently see. What would you like to do?
All right. Do I, the rifleman, am I confident that's the guy that hit me?
Yes.
Okay.
You're pretty sure that's the one that shot you.
Okay. I'm just gonna take a beat on him and just you son of a bitch. and just recock my rifle. And go for him.
Go for it.
Ooh, nice. All right, that is a 27 to hit.
That'll definitely hit. Roll for damage.
All right. And again, I'm asking also to partially get in the habit of doing this because a lot of my stuff is based on sneak attacks, and one of my abilities is steady aim. So, all right. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use one of my die to poison him, and then I will roll for damage in just a second.
Yep, go for it.
All right. So he takes 4 extra damage, but let's see what his damage is. Ooh, God, that was nice. All right.
And he failed his DC for his con save.
All right, so he is poisoned, and he took 24. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I fucked up on both of those. Give me a minute, and I'll reroll that.
Okay.
He takes 14 damage on that, so I apologize.
Okay. No worries. You guys hear Scrat's weapon go off again. Scrat, do you want to try to reposition or get into a better spot?
One of the things, because I took a sneak attack, I'm using steady aim, and part of the
you can't move, can you? Move. Yeah, you can't move, so you're stuck there with your steady aim, just waiting for a chance to finish the guy off. He still looks to be in the fight. He's just finished reloading his weapon. He's aiming at you and Elegon and at you, and kind of sees Elegon had already taken some damage and takes a shot at Elegon. Elegon, that's going to be a 15 to hit.
If I've got half cover, it still hits because that's my AC.
Correct. That's going to be 12 points of piercing damage from the rifle. Fabian, what would you like to do? You have an opportunity here. There's one guy with a pistol to the right of Elegon. Scrat just shot the guy down below that shot at you and missed. You have 2 targets.
About how
I thought I shot at the...
Say that again, Scrat?
I thought I shot the guy with the rifle.
There were 2 of them with the rifle.
Okay.
Yeah.
How close are those 2 guys?
Zodran finished off the other guy. Sorry, go ahead, Fabian.
Yeah. How close are these two guys to each other?
The guy to the right is pretty far off to the right, so I'd say they're within 80 feet of each other.
They're within 80.
One came out of like a rubble-strewn collapse of the wall, while the other one came in through the hallway that you guys were in earlier.
All right, and the one closest to us, does he look pretty beat up? I can't remember if he was shot already.
No, he has not been shot yet.
I'm gonna cast Shatter at him on his second level. So it's a con save.
Con save. Ooh, that's gonna fail, man. I am not rolling good saves tonight.
All right. So it's gonna be 3d8 for damage.
Nice.
6, 3, 7, so 16.
16 points of force damage, correct? Is it force or
Thunder damage?
Thunder, that's right. Shatters thunder damage. Crackles around him. You watch his. He just kind of bowls over in pain, kind of collapsing away from the shatter effect. He's still on his feet, but he's looking rough. Do you want to move at all, like shift positions, or?
I'll just try to take cover in my general area.
Okay, you ducking down to make sure you got cover. He kind of recovers, looks over, sees that Scrat is taking aim at the other one. Fabian's undercover. Elegon, you're still kind of partially undercover. He switches over to where Scrat just took a shot down at his buddy and switches to a secondary pistol. Cracks his pistol off in Scrat's direction. Scrat, you feel a small leaded round kind of slam into your right shoulder. Take 4 points of piercing damage for that one.
Is this the guy that I hit, or is this the other guy?
This is the other guy. Zadrin, you're up. What would you like to do? You have an opportunity here. Oh, I'm sorry, Elegon, you're up.
Elegon's first, yeah.
Yep, Elegon, you're up.
So I guess for Chromatic Orb, if you roll the same on 2 of your d8s, then you can roll the ball and attack a new target. So can I do that? And can I attack the guy who's been shooting me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I have to roll an attack.
Yep, go for it.
17.
That'll definitely hit. Roll for damage.
Okay, all right. I will roll for damage. Come here. Okay, that's a 6 and a 4. Okay, so that's 15 points of damage to that guy.
You slam him into his chest. You watch as his eyes roll into the back of his head, falling limp onto the ground. All of you hear someone get up and start running away. You watch as the third gunman gets up from out of cover and is starting to run away. Everybody but Elegon. So Elegon, you just dispatched the one guy near you. The other 3 of you could take an opportunity to see if you could strike him down before he gets out the hallway.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I want to try to use command again to just get him to stop in his tracks. So,
I'll let you go first.
17.
Yes,
17 on wisdom save. Yeah.
You got me.
Okay, I'm going to guiding bolt him.
Okay, go for it.
Because that's got the range. Because I think where I am, I'm more than 60 feet away from him. So, yeah. So that's no, that's a 9, not 1. Ouch.
It like pings off a nearby debris pile.
Yep.
Scrat, he's almost into the hallway. Take your shot.
Where are you? That is a 23 to hit.
I'll definitely hit. Roll for damage.
All right. So can I do this? I'm going to change up a little bit. I'm going to use one of my dice to trip him, and I'll read the text of that in just a second.
Okay.
As soon as I find it. Okay, if the target is large or smaller, it must succeed on a DC 16 Dex save or have the prone condition.
Okay.
So
go ahead and roll damage.
All right, so that is 7 extra damage plus 2, 7. What did I say? That is 14 total damage.
Oh, he definitely has the prone position because you blow a hole in his chest. Like, you watch as the round hits him center mass, blows out the front of him, and he falls prone, face first, into the debris pile in the hallway. Let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break, and when we get back, we'll do the second half.
Cool.
right, we are back.
Yes.
The room is silent. Smell of the smoke of the rifle shot. 3 forms, one to Elegon's right, lying still. One that made an attempt to run away into the hallway, flat on their face. The one nearest you, Zodran. No other movement, no other sign of movement.
I before dropping this starry shape, I'm gonna switch it to the chalice.
Okay.
Because then I can give some health back to our friends who lost some there.
Okay.
So just a second, let me get the thing clicked over real quick so it gives me the details. Sorry. So now I think, yeah, whenever I cast a spell using a slot that restores HP, another creature within 30 feet gets 1d8 plus 5. So
Ooh.
Who took the most between the two of you? I think Scrat probably, right? Or, well, you guys both took a lot.
I took in total 24 points of damage.
So did I, actually. Exactly 24.
Ooh.
All right, well, we'll split the difference then. I will healing word. I'll healing word Elgin, and then I'll do it twice.
Love that.
Or hang on, that's 2d4 plus 10. Holy moly! I love star form. It doubles my modifier. So that's 15.
Oh, incredible.
And then Scrat gets 10.
Cool.
And then I'll drop the starry form, so I'm no longer glowing.
Elegon's gonna run over and kick the guy who shot at him twice and be like, "That's what you get for messing with the Chandei Quorum."
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
turn around.
you run up to this figure on the ground. You sidestep some of the debris. You look down. They're wearing all kind of like black leathers and red leathers. They've got a red and black cloak pulled up to their face, like partially covered. You can see that like half of their face is quite stunning, like beautiful to look at, and the other half of the face is grotesque and scarred and burnt and very physically different than the other half, but like perfectly even. You can see that there's 2 pistols on the ground on either side of them. They don't appear to be wearing a backpack. They have a small pouch on their belt and this like medallion or this blackened metal chain with a medallion on the front of it, kind of hanging across their chest. Other than that, not much of immediate like things that you could see on it without taking the time to actually investigate it.
Does this feel the appearance? Does it feel religious to me, or
Give me a religion check as you stare at the medallion on around their neck.
12?
12. The medallion is in the shape of a world, like a planet kind of figure. And then there's the what languages do you speak, by the way, Elegon?
I have Common, Elvish, and Goblin.
The 2 symbols you recognize as letters, but you're not sure what letters they might be. It's written in some form of representation that you don't recognize.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I'm gonna approach I'm gonna go back to the goblin. Meep,
Okay.
were you expecting company?
No, he's like coming out from behind he rolls out from behind a debris pile, still bound at the wrist and the legs. I wasn't even expecting you guys. I just been looking for my mistress's stuff.
If I unbind your legs and hands, are you going to run?
No, I'm way too tired, and if I run out there, someone might kill me. If I stay here, someone might kill me. I'll stay with you guys. It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Such a good decision. And I'll remove the bindings from him. Now, come help us identify these figures.
Okay. Kind of like follows you out into the pathway. All of you hear skittering rock as Meeples takes off running. He just starts running down the hallway. He starts screaming, they're gonna kill me! They're gonna kill me! And he's just running and screaming out the hallway.
Is he within 90 feet?
Yeah.
I'll do a Vortex Warp. It's a con save 15.
Con save?
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's going to be a fail. You watch as the energy lashes around him. You grab him. You swing him all the way back towards you, and you ceremonially just got to dump him at your feet.
Yeah, like warp him right in the middle of our grip.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going, Meep?
Oh, shit. I was going to run away and try not to get killed. I was trying to do.
No. Meep, we have so many more questions for you.
No, I don't think you do. I think you're just gonna kill me. I don't want to die. He just starts crying. He's just bawling on the ground, crying his little goblin eyes out.
I had no intention of killing you, but
see the way he used his words? No, he's gonna kill me.
I'm gonna speak to, I presume Sordin speaks Elvish. I'll speak to him and be like, he clearly has information about the formula. The Chandei Quorum will have interest in retaining him.
I know. But
if you wanted to keep him quiet, that I would not mind. He's giving me a headache.
my friends in the Corsairs might have something to ask him as well.
Oh my god. Why did my mistress teach me Elven? And then he's just like, he's bawling because he understood every word that he said.
Sure. So I am going to Druidcraft, but given that I'm of the spider persuasion, I'll ask you for flavor if I could Druidcraft just a web on his mouth, just to shut him up. It's just like I imagine
flying out of his nose.
I imagine like spiders just come crawling up him and weave a web across his mouth.
Oh, if you're gonna use that kind of flavor, oh yeah, he passes out. He's just terrified.
That's fine.
And he's silent as he.
Because I also have infestation as a cantrip. And like I would imagine doing both of those, not to kill him, but just to shut him up.
Just to shut him up and spread the web.
Creepy as
and
possible.
he's just like looking down at these spiders, like his own Matrix moment. Like and his mouth just seals shut. And he panics at the sight of the spiders and passes out.
There, I'm quiet now. I'll take a look at the. You said they were wearing red and black. Is it anything that I would recognize as far as?
You give me a history
guilds?
check or a religion check if you'd like.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking more in terms of if there are other guilds, like if it's one of the other.
I mean, he looks exactly like what Elegon saw. You know, the medallion. This one has a spare rifle nearby, the one that he was holding, kind of on the ground. It's pretty much more like a black powder rifle. And half their face is disfigured. The other half is kind of hauntingly gorgeous looking.
Yep, I was a 5. I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they just don't look familiar to you. I mean, you've never heard of anyone. I would say you can give me a medicine check if you'd like.
Yep, I was going to ask if she pointed. Did you point out the letters? Did Elegon point out
I would have pointed out.
Yeah, what languages do you speak?
Marquesian, Primordial, Sylvan, Thieves' Cant, and Undercommon.
Your primordial is enough to let you know that it is letters written in Infernal, but you don't recognize them because you don't speak Infernal.
Right.
All right.
Infernal lettering. Ooh. Yeah, and then you said I could roll medicine?
Yeah, medicine check.
Yep. Better, but still not great. 11. Ugh.
11? A
Yeah.
DC 10. You recognize that their disfigurement was self-induced.
This is some this is some sort of flagellation, some sort of self-induced trauma. At least it appears self-induced.
What
Do
is-
you
I-
know? Yeah, I was going to add, like, do you know of any groups that indulge in that sort of mutilation? Scrap?
Why the fuck would I know anyone like that?
The patchy fur, the odd hair thing. You're scrawny.
I'm a ratkin in a city. The fuck is your excuse?
I'm just saying, you look like you've mutilated yourself.
No, I've led a very, very hard life, and I don't mean to belabor the point. I just got shot twice. Fuck them. I am looting all the shit off these. Also, you only have what you stole off that guy.
I didn't take anything.
You took his backpack, but
No, I gave it to Elegon.
oh,
Literally, I didn't take anything.
oh yeah. Try to cheat me out of my spoils.
Fabian, give me a history check because you're on the more educated side and you know Jrusar pretty well. Your clientele that come into your shop on the regular basis, it's kind of led you to understand things in very uniquely bureaucratic ways. That's kind of how you and Elegon kind of met, through doing work for Elegon as well as just other members of the Chandei Quorum.
History check, I got a 14.
14. The black and red garments actually mean something to you. Their outfits have been specifically ceremonially kind of fabricated. Everything about their behavior feels religious in nature. But their overall appearance and the medallion that they wear. What languages do you speak, Fabian?
Just Elvish and Common.
Elvish and Common. They kind of exhibit the classic profile of like a cultish kind of look about them. This doesn't appear to be another guild or syndicate. These look like cult members, like people that ceremonially dressed alike. They wear the same medallion around their neck. They went through the same disfigurement of their faces, but like the beauty of the beauty half of their face looks altered, like it was made to look that way. And that's when you notice little tiny stitch marks, like healed scars along their jawline, their chin, and like up into their ear areas, and then the front of their face. These faces have been stitched onto them.
Ooh.
That's not
Fascinating.
that's not a thing you humanoids do, right? That's fucked up for you guys too, right? Just making sure.
Yeah, this is gross.
This is definitely very bizarre.
Fascinating.
Okay, just making sure.
Are we gonna I'll pull the other two bodies over. Are we gonna find anything with them besides the ruined robes? But any
Everyone
item?
is free to roll investigation as you start rolling the bodies, see if there's anything on them of any other interest.
I would like to see that. Out of curiosity, before I get too far into it, Can you tell me about the rifles they were using? Because I'm curious.
They
about
are
what they look
black
like.
powder rifles. They're very crudely made, which suggests they're not very well fabricated. You actually, Scrat, you can give me a history check on these because you would reckon you're a gunner, so you're a gunslinger, so you know weapons like this when you see them.
All right, I got an 18 on that.
Yeah, these were made in Bassaris, in the major city of the Hellcatch Valley.
All right, I'm just gonna.
They're
kinda turn
okay,
over-
but they're not exemplary. They're not like great weapons.
If we had to put a number to that, what would you say their damage output is? If I wanted to, compare them to my musket, let's say.
Oh, they're definitely better than your gun.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna take one or two of those.
Okay.
I
I
got a
rolled,
20 investigation.
What'd you get, Fabian?
21.
21. Okay.
That is 16.
What'd you get, Zadran?
16.
16. Elegon?
15.
Okay.
So, are any of you guys Sorsen, if I heard right, you speak thieves' cant, right?
Mhm.
Okay, can I just kind of turn to him and just say in thieves' cant, like, he did remember to go through their pockets, right? Check out the normal places.
Of course, friend.
Yeah. Scrat's still gonna. I want to, if I can I do a sleight of hand and just kind of go through them myself and just see if I find anything interesting.
Yeah, go for
Sleight-
it. Give me
Sleight of hand or investigation.
Up to you. Either way.
All right. Let's do sleight of hand. Mine's better at that. Hi, Charlie. Ooh, nat 20.
Full of
Full of 8. So 28.
28. Nice. Fabian, as all four of you are kind of rifling through the remains of these three individuals, they've been dragged over. 2 Hellcatch rifles have been pulled off the bodies, as well as 2 Hellcatch pistols have been taken from the bodies. 3 small bags, which seem to contain extra round and extra powder for the weapons. Each small bag containing 4 gold and 10 silver. If you guys choose to spread that out amongst the 4 of you. The one with the 2 pistols feels like maybe they were in charge of these 2. He's slightly larger. Fabian, there's something strange and you just can't help yourself. You unbuckle and kind of start taking off the leather armor that they're wearing. And as soon as you start peeling away at the leather armor to get to see if they've got any under tunic or anything else on underneath, or see if they got anything stashed down there, you kind of take the medallion from the one guy's neck. As you take the armor off, there is a massive tattoo on the whole front of their body. It seems to crawl around the backside of their body, almost like tendrils, like Kraken's tendrils, kind of. And in the center mass of the chest, this giant green fisheye, this perfectly made like fisheye. Give me a religion check, Fabian, as you examine this tattoo.
I'll give him the help action. I'll
Okay,
look
you have
over his
advantage.
Nat 20.
Ooh!
Nice.
So that'll be
What with your bonus?
22.
22. You recognize it as a perfect dedication tattoo to a god or a lesser god known as Ukatoa. They tend to be favored. They tend to be favored by nautical individuals, people that spend a great deal of time at sea or in port cities, port towns, port communities. There's a mixed kind of understanding of who this Ukatoa is from a kind of the cult of Ukatoa. However, with that role, there is another name that they're often referred to as the cult of the World Eaters.
Ooh.
Come on, Charles. Stop that, please.
Get him, Charles. Get him. Zadran and Elegon. Elegon, you notice that one of them has a really nice silver bracelet that you kind of take off their wrist. Zadrin, you notice one has a couple gold rings on their left hand. They don't appear to be magical, so you just kind of take those gold rings off and drop them into your pouch.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you guys pretty much find on them.
Yeah. So I will turn back to Scrat, and in Thieves' Cant, it's nothing else here. Just a couple of rings.
My cut.
All right. Well,
You're looking at your cut. I point at the musket he picked up off the ground.
Okay.
So, with my 28, did I find anything that he missed? Or
Not really, which kind of surprises you. But it also tells you a lot about these guys. Their focus isn't wealth or anything of a traditional roguish group. Pretty much firms up the idea that they're cults or cultists. Whether or not they're members of either the World Eater cult or the cult of Uk'otoa, you're not entirely sure. But there's nothing on them that screams that they're from Jrusar or that they're local to Jrusar. You're not even sure where they would hide out once they were here. So maybe they've been here the whole time. I will say with that sleight of hand, you do recover a small folded up piece of parchment.
all right. So I'm gonna tuck that in my back pocket out of sight.
Okay.
I took 3 of the gold for myself and 8 of the silver. If you
Okay.
guys want to ride the rest.
So what was that? 3 gold, 8 silver each. Is
Yeah,
that-
and then there'll
is
be
that right?
2 leftover silver. Or
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
I have no use. I have no use for these crude firearms.
Scott's definitely taking the rifles. He's probably gonna leave the pistols because those aren't really my thing. I have other stuff that I'd rather use if I'm kind of in pistol range. Like that's gonna be a bad thing for Scrat.
You don't want to sell these little rats?
I mean, technically, you could dismantle them and use them as spare parts if you wanted to, Scrat.
Yeah. I didn't know if the lockwork was gonna be similar, but just turned it with like, Sorzan, look at this district. Every one of my fences is dead. All of them.
Such a
I don't have-
small area of the Smolder Spire.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are there other places where you hire murderous rat people to take people out, from rooftops? Other places that want to hire someone like me? I mean, yes,
I
but like looking as I did,
Probably come up with a couple, yes.
I don't get me wrong. Like I'd
What
love
less
to work for.
talkative as well.
I definitely just because there's some spot energy to me. I'm gonna wait for Sorzan to turn his back. I'm gonna try to take his pocket.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
give me a sleight of hand.
Every
there's
Eric
8.
character has an issue with every Kurt character.
Right?
Yes.
It's awesome.
These are
What'd
the
you
rules
get?
of the universe.
I got an 18.
18. What's your passive perception, Zadrin?
18.
18? Yeah. You turn to talk to Fabian and Elegant, and you just feel a tiny little rat claw hand like in one of your pockets.
He's going to pull a spider out.
Okay, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
I mean,
You just start
it's
eating it.
infestation, so make a con save.
If this is a poison thing, I do have resistance to being poisoned.
Yeah, but it's infestation, so make a con save.
Okay.
Yeah.
14.
14? Nope. So you take 1d6 of poison damage, and then
Okay,
roll
so
a
I have that
d4
save.
and run.
What was that
Yeah,
last part?
so that's 1 poison damage, but then you
Ugh.
roll a d4 and move in that direction.
That's a 3.
So that's east.
right,
You just
whatever.
watch as he just turns, jams the spiders into his mouth. You can hear them popping and kind of crunching a little bit. And then suddenly he gets this fearful look on his face. He turns and runs off in the easterly direction.
Can I try to trip him with my tail?
No, because you're under the infestation effect, unfortunately.
Oh,
Silly rat.
But
Well.
eventually you calm back down. It lasts, what, a minute? Or just a
Yeah.
round? Yeah.
It's not even that. It's a range.
this is pure curiosity at this point. For the
5 feet in a
Poison
random
effect?
direction, yeah.
the 1 point of damage I took, was that rounded down because of my resistance, or was it?
Yeah,
literally one point?
I rolled a 2.
Okay, it
I
was
rolled a 2. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
I'm not real worried about 1 point of damage, but just wanted to clarify. All right.
Like,
Well, I mean, I've been the one healing you too, so.
it's like at that moment as Scrat jams the spiders into his mouth, the goblin comes to, looks up to see Scrat do that and then run off, looks at Zodran, and passes out again.
So
Makes a
I'm going
little
to
whimper and passes out.
I'm going to scoop the goblin up and druid craft like a web sack on my back, so I don't have to hold him. I've got my hands free.
Did you just webcraft a what do they call them, baby carrier?
Pretty
Oh,
much,
up
but on the
the
back,
reach,
not on the front. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a travel carrier on your back.
Uh-huh.
Just gotta
Yeah.
stitch it up and druid craft it and put the
It
goblin
looks
back
like
there.
it looks like Frodo when he was
Yeah.
wrapped up, right? Except it's a little goblin face, and it's just
Yeah,
sticking on my
gotcha.
back, facing away, with web over the mouth still.
Super creepy, but pretty cool.
Yeah. I am very creepy.
Yes. Yes.
Zordran, will you pick up one of the cultists as well? Maybe we can have a cleric question them.
Oh yeah. How about the big one?
Yeah, the one who seemed most important.
Sure. And I'll web him up the same way, and so I have 2 bodies webbed to my back right now.
With that, you guys gather up your new prisoner and the remains of one of the cultists. With Fabian leading the way, he leads you out towards the opposite end of the platform of the Smolder Spire. And there waiting, a small skiff. Fabian leads the 3 of you onto the skiff. He goes over to the automaton that manages the skiff. He kind of whispers something into its like metal area, and you feel the skiff detach and begin to kind of move away. And if I recall, your shop is in the Lucent Spire, is it not?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It is. You feel the skiff gain some altitude, head over to one of the nearby landing platforms of the Lucent Spire, settles into Fabian's little kind of like private tether area. The 4 of you disembark and sneak into the back entrance of the Silver Time. And the Silver Time is kind of turned into an impromptu headquarters for the 4 of you to meet whenever dirty work needs doing. You bring in Scrat, or if you need to understand what the Chandei Quorum's interests are, or Fabian's kind of instinct around the idea of knowing as much information as possible to better themselves and better position themselves as both for clients and information. Zodran working directly with the Hubatt Corsairs, this has kind of worked for you. So the back half of the Silver Time is kind of like a big common room that you guys use after your little forays out into the world or missions that you might go on. Upon arrival in the back of the Silver Time, a very kind of tall and resplendent Goliath. She's often referred to as of the cloud. A very notoriously kind of shamanistic and very pride group of Goliaths out of Wildmont and the Graying Lands. And she goes by the name of Raging Fist. But she is Fabian's caretaker, bodyguard. Opens the door, lets the four of you in, takes the goblin and places it in one of the holding cells that's been fabricated back here, takes the remains of the cultist and sets it on top of a wood table that it's just like a little work table. But it's early evening. You guys have made it back to the Lucent Spire. You're in the back holding area of the Silver Time. What would you like to do with the remains of the day?
You know, our goblin friend here mentioned that Sarai visited the rookery very often. Perhaps there may be unread messages waiting for her there. I could try to sneak in and procure some of those messages, if you think that would help.
Yes, I mean, that sounds wonderful. He also did mention Crypt, who he was going to bring the books, her journal to, if we want to potentially get in contact with this man as well.
Would any of us know Kremp or recognize the name?
Not at all.
Okay.
All right. Do any of you guys also speak Goblin, or
I speak
He
Goblin.
does. Or he does.
is our Goblin friend conscious, more or less?
Oh no, he's stirred back. He's got like once he's been set into the little cage, he's just kind of holding on to the little cell, like the little bars, and if you let me go, I won't run. I promise.
Uh-huh.
We've heard that before, unfortunately.
Why don't you relax,
before,
enjoy it.
I'm
I'm gonna pour Meepa a glass of champagne.
Oh, what is this?
It's delightful. Just relax.
Okay.
Let the bubbles
Downs it in one swig. Oh, it makes my nose pop.
Yes.
Now, can I have another?
Absolutely.
Takes another one. Can I have another?
Absolutely.
Just watch Scratch just like
Let
Let it breathe, you uncultured swine!
Can I have one more?
Now, for right now, we're going to keep it as it is. It's
Okay. It makes me sleepy. Why am I here again? What do we? Oh, yeah. No, no. Why am I here again? Why have you taken me? Yes, yeah. What? Oh God, not the scary person, please, anybody. But he like closes his eyes real tightly as if it will make you go away.
I'm going to have spiders like crawling on his shoulders, just not doing anything but just skittering, right? Would Sarai have used some kind of false name to receive her letters?
Oh, that's really clever. I wouldn't have thought of that. Maybe. But I don't no. Please
They're up on his neck, like doing that thing with their front legs, where they, where they tap in their movement or
definitely take
whatever.
another con save.
They're like
That's natural one. He just passes out cold, just like he just passes out cold.
Well,
Sorry. He's
Yes.
clearly having a poor reaction to your bugs. Maybe if you want to get information out of him, I can try working on him. I can be very, very persuasive and just pulls out a knife and just starts picking his giant rodent teeth.
I do think Fabian has a better opportunity to do this, but perhaps we should go to the rookery and see if we can sneak in and procure those letters.
I mean,
Scrat, would you like to accompany me?
yeah, I think I better.
We can leave the bureaucrats to their bureaucracy.
I'm interested in speaking to Crimp. And it's probably best that I do it. I would be the most likely to understand the type of work that he does. So it's appropriate for me to look into that.
Sir Tyler, would you mind sending me details on the rifles we picked up? You just mentioned those better than mine, so I don't know what that means.
Yep. I'll have the stats for you for before next week.
I got you.
I'd like to go with Elegan to Crump. I got to be the charm one.
Mm-hmm. I need it. I am not charming.
I'm just
Elegant would never say that, but
So you're not really sure who Crimp is. You probably suspect that he works for one of the many houses or organizations within the city. I'll say, Elegon, you have a particular contact within the Core Spire that you can try to reach out to and see if they recognize the name and possibly give you insight into how to locate this person named Crimp that seems to be linked to Sarai or, whatever that connection might be. Zadran, you're going to go to the Rookery and see what you can find out from there. Scrat, what are you doing with this?
I'll go with Zadran.
Okay. So with that, Zadran, you and Scrat head on over to the Airy Spire and down towards the mid-tier of the spire to look for the Rookery. If you ask for directions, you can do investigation with advantage.
Okay. I'll ask for sure.
I'll mitigate the creepy factor.
I won't be so creepy asking where it is this time. That is a what was my roll for that one? Sorry, persuasion, or 18.
Nice. One of the nearby wardens, you kind of figure they're the best ones to talk to. He kind of points towards a series of bridges that take you down to a lower section of the Airy Spire. Describes this 2-story structure built into the spire. It'll have the sign "The Rookery" on it. It'll be filled with anywhere from 4 to 5 dozen ravens. There's an individual name. They just call them the Rook Keeper, is what they're kind of known for, as you and Scrat kind of head over into that direction. Elegon, you and Fabian arrive in the Core Spire. More importantly, you arrive at a place called the Prism Emporium. The person that's your contact owns this place. It's owned and operated by Tuyin Atwana. She is an interesting person, to say the least. But she, Tuyin's never, she's never really led you astray. She's a pretty solid elf that, by running this business, offers her a connection with the city and those that buy and sell. She's also known to be a minor fence to the Core Spire community, to those thieves that look to pawn or get rid of items. You and Fabian enter into the store. She's busy kind of filling out a registry. She looks up. Oh, Master Elegon.
Tuyin, excellent to see you. I hope we're not arriving too late in the evening.
No, I'm open for another hour or so. I was just making some inventory adjustments. Oh my, who's this?
Surely Fabian.
Oh, of the Silver Time. You normally don't come down here slumming. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you and your excellent tailoring and outfits, but what brings you to me this evening?
The Prism Emporium is the place that turned Tally and I away, right?
No, that was the that was in the Lucent Spire. That was the Golden Veil.
Okay.
No, the Prism Emporium is in the Core Spire. It is quite literally a general goods store, like odds and ends for day-to-day stuff that people might need.
Okay. Tuium, in the course of my business with the Chandei Quorum, a name has come across my desk, and I have a few questions for this individual. Do you know a person named Crimp?
Crimp. Well, they're more of a legend than a person. I believe that is their nickname, if that's correct. They are an artificer. They work for the Ivory Syndicate, I believe. They do a lot of constructs and, rumor has it, a lot of experiments.
What experiments?
Just strange experiments, I think, is the best way to describe what he's capable of. Works in secret for the Ivory Syndicate. I don't really know what he does. Every now and then he comes to my shop for strange little oddities, little metal gears, or pieces of copper, or pieces of brass. Occasionally, small crystals that they use for purposes of their constructs, I think. But, I don't really sell those things that could be deemed classical artificer items.
Magical crystals, Tuian? Diamonds?
No, not the backroom stuff. No, that stuff I have to get permission, to sell those. I try to avoid that whenever possible.
Very wise.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of wise, what is the Chandei Quorum doing muddling about in Ivory Syndicate matters? I've always been under the impression that try to stay out of that side of the politics.
The Chandei Quorum is aware of everything going on in Jrusar. That's our job. But, with this tragedy down in the Smolder Spire, there are some leads we need to chase down to make sure that the culprits are appropriately dealt with.
Yes,
certainly I wouldn't ask the Ivory Syndicate to do this.
A tragedy indeed, isn't it? Do you know whose warehouses those were?
Why? Do you have a friend you're worried about?
No, but I know whose warehouses those were.
Oh, do you?
They all belong to House Maysoon.
Interesting.
Every single one of them, that whole district, belongs to them. They lease them out and rent them out to people for whatever services they use them for. But yes, that's House Maysoon owned that little district of the Smolder Spire. It was their pet project. When they buy up real estate, they rent it out for people to use. Quite a lucrative little side business.
Not the first time we've heard the name Maysoon today.
Oh, really? How else did you hear? How else did you hear about Maysoon?
Another contact, another lead.
Another contact, another lead. So you're investigating what happened at the Smolder Spire? The Chandei Quorum has officially gotten involved then?
Certainly, I'm interested to know what is happening.
Oh, well, Elegon, we know you're the Chandei Quorum. Is this an official investigation? Or is this merely a young man's personal interest?
Tuian, I think I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh.
Though I always appreciate your curiosity.
Well, can't blame a girl for trying. Speaking of trying, Fabian, dinner, drinks tonight? Me?
I believe I don't swing that way, but I'm happy to entertain you in any other way.
Oh. Well, I could certainly find us swings to swing on. I wasn't interested in any kinesiology, but if that's your preference,
I'm always up for entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yes.
Well, if you're not busy, we can go to the Dreamscape Theater tonight. They have quite the presentation there tonight.
Oh, really? What are they showing?
They are showing a theater. It's called The First of Fallen. an ode to the Azimir. It's a bit of a take on an old legend that's been kind of turned into a romantic story of how the first angel fell to Exandria, fell in love with the mortals of the world, and has wandered with them ever since, only to disappear into the ether of the world itself. It's quite a silly little romance play, but it should be fun. A lot of important people will be there.
I'd be remiss not to take your invitation. I would love to go.
Well, meet me here, say 3-4 hours. I'm assuming you'd like to dress up for the occasion.
Yes, of course. And I'll bring something special for you as well.
Oh, see? You, Fabian, are the reason why I am still a nice person. Thank you.
Yeah, I had other plans, so definitely no worries that I haven't been invited.
I was about to ask you as well. Don't be so heartbroken. You'll always be my first love, Elegon. Would you also like to join us for theater tonight?
I'm gonna pretend to check a calendar and be like, I suppose I could make time.
You just pull out a blank journal. Yeah. I
pull out Sarai's journal and pretend
my
that
dinner meeting with the mayor and the governor, but I'll be there.
I can tell someone else. I'll speak with them tomorrow instead.
Okay. Zadrin, you and Scrat arrive at the rookery. A kind of elderly looking gnome with big, giant, thick glasses, wild hair, wearing kind of green and yellow colors, covered in bird shit all over their shoulders, their arms. You can tell they handle the ravens quite frequently. She adjusts her glasses, looks at Scrat. Ah, are you aware that you're being followed by a very large rat?
I believe it's a very large rat.
And it's walking upright.
Correct.
Does not seem sanitary to me. As she peels bird shit off her face.
The young man was just curious as to where to find the birds. I was leading him here. See,
they eat them.
Here's the birds. I do that. I feign that I was showing there, and I step outside, and I'm going to wild shape into a spider.
Okay.
And kind of go in through the window area.
Okay.
So, anyway, what can you tell me about these birds? What do they taste good in?
Well, they're not for eating. They're meat ravens.
Well, why not? Just not enough meat on them? Is that what's going on here? I mean, beggars, choosers, all that. But I mean, you seem to have a lot up here. Just figure out ask.
They're very tough and they're very stringy. I don't think you're going to get much off of them at all. Where did your friend go? Why?
Oh, he's not he's an associate at best. He doesn't deserve this.
Oh, so he doesn't qualify as a friend?
No, not at all.
No. Okay. Sorry. Is there something I can do for you?
Well, I was just curious about the rookeries. Like I said, we don't really my people don't really use them. We're kind of down in the depths doing rattling stuff.
Well, when you say stuff, what does that mean? What do you do down there? I mean, do you eat feces?
No.
Well, what do you eat? It's a sewer.
There's alcoves and stuff. I don't live in the sewers. I live in the smaller spire until
the explosion.
Yeah.
Quite bad, actually. Quite bad.
Yeah,
well, ravens cost you based on where you're sending them to. The further they go, the more expensive it is. So, for example, let's say you wanted to send a brief message to Amon. From Jrusar to Amon, it would be 5 gold for that message delivery. Let's say you wanted to send a message to Ankarel. It would be simply 1 gold because it's a much shorter distance. Unfortunately, anywhere they go, they have to be countermanded by another rookery. If a city, town, or village doesn't have a rookery, well, I can't send a message to it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This just seems like a really, kind of scummy business practice. Like in a world where, like, literally anyone can learn sending and communicate basic messages for nothing. I don't know. It's like, I mean, not to insult your predatory business model, but hey, can I get another ground floor on this? Like this.
She just looks down at you. You do realize it takes many years of studying and hard work to learn spells. Not everyone can do it. In fact, it's kind of what makes people that can do it special, because not everyone can actually do it, which has created the idea of demand for an affordable, tactile way, other than your feet and a horse, to deliver a message to someone in one of the major cities. I don't think it's predatory. You just offered to eat one of my birds. That feels more predatory, I think. Yeah.
Look, again, like, I'm surrounded by literal. I mean, you have had birds, right? Birds are delicious.
I've had chicken and turkey and geese and duck. Yes, I've had poultry and fowl before, but my birds are very expensive to train. I don't eat them.
I mean, seems like a. Never said on your part. I just treat these like a little stewing hen or something. Just make it said low and slow, maybe for overnight.
So Zandra, you can hear this whole cringy conversation going on. So Scrat, give me
the distraction was effective.
Yeah. So I'll say, Scrat, you can either give me performance or persuasion, whichever is better for you.
I suck at both, so it doesn't really matter.
Best I could do.
That is a 14.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Would you believe the giant rat person? Not very charismatic.
Zydrin, you are currently a spider in the Raven Rookery. What are you looking for?
Can I have, before we do this, could I have ritual cast speak with animals before we go in?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean it's one of the druid things now, is it's a ritual.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, as I approach the window, I'm going to talk to the ravens and tell them, if you try to eat me, I will kill all of you. If one of
all
you tries
60
to eat me,
of the ravens look at you. All 60 of the ravens give you that kind of tilted head expression, and you realize that they talk in unison when they talk to you. They talk as a flock. You'll kill us. They'll laugh in unison. You're a spider. We'll just eat you.
I would dare you to try, but
what are you doing here?
What
are you doing? What are you doing here?
Where are the messages?
Like their head turns back towards where Scrat and the rookery keeper are talking.
I'm going to skitter that direction.
Okay.
And then I'll make my way up to where the messages are and just kind of be going through looking for names specifically. You
kind of skitter underneath the doorway. You could hear Scrat talking about garlic and mushrooms, and if you pull out the feathers just right, the horrified looking rookery keeper is just like stunned into silence with this conversation that's playing out.
Yep.
As you skitter under the door, you could see behind the counter there's these shelves, and on the shelves you can see all these rolled up pieces of paper with little ribbons hanging from them with names on them. Give me investigation as you begin to kind of look at the different shelves.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's 22.
22. On the bottom left-hand shelf, there are 4 rolled up messages with the ribbon name Sarai on each one of the ribbons.
Okay. I'm going to try and do this stealthily.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Sure.
Can I?
Nope. Sorry, that's
While
an
he's
8.
in there, can I try to cause a distraction for him?
Well,
Just,
you
like, say something
currently are,
particularly
so
stupid.
Zodran, you can get advantage on this.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Scrat's
Oh,
doing a
that's
pretty
better.
good job of horrifying the
Yeah.
Rook Keeper.
So that's a 22.
22.
Yeah.
You kind of very silently walk over to the edge of the shelving. You crawl up onto the shelving, and now you're in the little kind of cubby of this section of the shelving with the 4 notes.
So I'm going to try and push the notes out and end up like pushing them under the table, or like try to push them out to the floor and then push them away from the person.
Okay. Give me acrobatics or athletics as you do this.
Okay. Oh, that's acrobatics. That's a 5.
5. As you try to push the notes away and off the shelf, you kind of lose your balance as your spider. You're not quite, they're being more resistant, and you inadvertently push through the notes and you tumble off the edge of the shelf and poof, onto the ground. Kind of make this very subtle thud noise. But as you're kind of on your back trying to get back up on all of your creepy little spider legs, curled up on a blanket that you didn't notice before is this big fat Cheshire cat. And it's just enough for the cat to wake up, its yellow eyes blinking at you. And because you still have speak with animals up as it meows at you.
Oh yeah.
You look delicious. And he starts kind of like getting out of his bed, and his little butt's up in the air, the tail wiggling like he's getting ready to pounce on you.
If you don't want to die, help me get these notes, and I'll deliver the largest rat you've ever seen.
The spider speaks. Rat, you say?
Yes. I like one of my spider legs is going like pointing.
Just kind of the cat. Can't eat that. It's too big.
You could eat for a week on that.
Well, maybe. You're saying if I help you, you'll give me that rat.
I will.
Give me your persuasion check, if you would, please.
Sure. Hang on. I gotta look at my modifier again. Yeah, it's what I thought. Yeah, 6.
6. Looks at you, looks at the rat, looks at the note. You're lying. And this big cat paw just kind of slams down on you for a 23 to hit.
Yeah, oh yeah, it hits for sure.
4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep. So I'm going to. That'll. No, I have temporary hit points. So okay, I'm fine. I'll skitter back up the shelf quickly, like from the outside of the shelf.
You can't hide from me.
And now I'm going to try and like tie the notes together with a web.
Okay.
And then I'm going to track that around the wall. Like I'm going to walk around the wall.
You feel a cat paw kind of like lash into the cubby. It misses you like just barely over your form, scratching into the wood. As you carry the notes around, you lash them, and you're carrying them. Athletics or acrobatics, if you would, please, to make sure you can do this.
Sure. Oh, that was a better roll that time. Okay. That's an 18 for acrobatics.
Okay. You manage to pull it around. You hear this, stop that. And you watch as this elderly gnome that was helping Scrat has this big, like, rolling pin and just cracks the cat over the head. Like, for making all the noise. The cat, like, just kind of winces and runs off and goes, sorry about that. You were saying, goes back to talking to Scrat as you
I'm gonna say back to the
around
cat, like, I told you so, and I disappear around the corner with the notes.
Yeah.
The ravens are still over there, I assume. Too?
Yeah.
How do you deal with having a cat in here with all these? Like, I mean, I figure like you gotta lose what, like I don't know, 8, 10 a week. You know.
No, the cat's for keeping out rats and Sorry, no pun intended. Mice and such fun. No, the ravens are in their own cage. I don't let the bird into the cage.
I mean, I don't know, man. Cats are crafty. Can I try to calm the cat over?
You gotta lean over. You can see this cat wincing in pain. It's like doing that back paw licking thing after being kind of chastened by its owner.
Oh. Hey, little buddy. Everything okay over there?
Like its fur goes like full up on end. It like tries to bite your finger as you get close to it.
Can I roll animal handling to see if I can calm him down?
You can certainly try.
That is a 22.
Nice. You gotta put your creepy little skaven paw out to kind of calm it down. Its fur and hackles are high on the end, like just up, and as you get closer, it kind of sniffs your hand and kind of calms down and starts like licking your hand. Zodrin, because you're close enough, it's mewing and making like these cat noises, but all Scrat hears are cat noises as he thinks the cat kind of likes him. Zodrin, you hear it saying, "Oh, this rat does taste good. This rat tastes really good. Maybe I should wait. I could catch it in the middle of the night. That spider was right. I could eat for weeks off this cat." So it just kind of looks like it's licking all over Scrat's head, like it's just falling in love with Scrat, but you hear otherwise.
Yeah.
Aw, you're such a good kitty. Yes, you are. Did your mean person bap you? Oh, you cute little thing.
It like gives you a little like mouth bite on your finger.
Oh,
Zodrin, you're
Just
like,
gotta-
"Oh, this is so tasty."
I
Just
tried
like
to
what-
tell you.
Just give one of those gentle cat owner, just like, don't do that. Just,
So with that going on, Fabian and Elegon, where are you gonna head off to before the evening commences?
I think we need some new digs. Why don't we head back to the shop? Unless you got somewhere else to go.
Well, this crimp individual, I think we need information from him, but I don't know how much information he'll give me. Maybe you would have better luck.
Yes, I could certainly assist with that.
Maybe let's go try and find him. Or wait, did she tell us where he was, or just said he's sort of a mystery?
Supposedly he works for the Ivory Syndicate. That's all she really knew.
Okay.
Yeah, he really works
the-
in secret.
And you're being a member of the Chandei Quorum. The Ivory Syndicate's a pretty well-known criminal group,
Yeah.
criminal gang. So they've got some power on the street.
We could go out and try and seek out Ariana from House Maysoon. That was another lead that we received. Wait, have you worked with an Ariana from House Maysoon, Fabian? I know everyone comes to you for clothes.
Well, I've heard the name before. I don't have any direct relations to her that I can remember at this moment.
Maybe it's time you make a
Yes.
house call.
Yeah, let's try to let's see if I know anyone that might be able to point us in her direction.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So Fabian, you end up at the Spire by Fire after leaving the Prism Emporium. There is a very familiar dwarf there that you do recognize, as you recognize the dwarf Emberbrew, who is currently talking to some people, then sees you come in. "Oi, Fabian! Good to see ya. What can I do for ya? And your rather charming-looking friend."
Yes, did you care to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, my name is Elegon. And I'll kind of hold a hand out like I'm expecting him to do a little bow or something. Like not going full
He like
handshake.
reaches out, grabs your small, like your fingers, and kind of, "Pleasure to meet ya." Yeah.
Yes, mutual.
I kind of dust off his shoulders a little bit. It's like, you really do need to come in.
I'm a working dwarf. I mean, what do you want from me?
Yes,
I'm too
but
afraid to wear your clothes that you sell to me.
You can
I'm
make
always
this
thinking
fire by
that
fire
I'm gonna
to the
get
shop.
dirty and greasy.
Well, Ember Brew, on top of some cocktails, I think We're looking for a little information. If you could potentially help us locate 1 or 2 people.
What are you looking for?
Well, first, and I kind of like lean into him. Are you familiar with someone named Crim?
Aye. Works for the Ivory Syndicate. Tall fella. Short hair, glasses, pasty-looking skin like he never quite gets out in the sunlight, if you get my meaning. Always wandering the streets in the open market looking for rare chemicals and ingredients for his experiments and his constructs. I overheard that the daft idiot was working on a particularly nasty machine that kind of went haywire and went missing into the city. Always looking for that thing, he is. But other than that, you're not going to find audience with him directly at the Ivory Syndicate. They'll never let you step a foot through the door. Are you familiar with a place called the Dreamscape Theater?
That's very ironic. We're happy to go there this evening.
Hey, I have a contact there, a little halfling fellow. Goes by the name of Gripham. If you run into him there, he's a little bit of an information network person for me. If there's anyone knows how to get into the Ivory Syndicate, get you access to Crimp, he's the one to do it.
It's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. This is more than I could expect.
Listen, I've got your case of wine that you have on monthly order. If you're here now and pay for the pickup yourself, it'll save you the delivery charge.
Absolutely. How much? What is the cost on that?
12 gold for 12 bottles.
Excellent.
Now, you can swap them out from one to another. You can interchange them if you'd like. No extra fee.
Excellent.
Right,
12 gold? Man, you drink cheaper stuff than I would have expected.
Well,
cheap. This isn't cheap. This is good fucking wine, it is.
I mean, I would have to sample it to know.
Oh, you want the tasting? He pulls out like little glass goblets and puts down a little like a little piece of parchment paper with 5 little tickets on it, and he tears off 2 of the tickets and pours 2 tastings for the 2 of you.
I'll do the thing where you like swirl it and then you give it a sniff.
cheers, my darling.
Dude, you kind of cheer and taste it. It's really good. It's excellent.
It's passable.
Right. Get out of my bar. You're a terrible person. Don't forget the tip.
Yes, of course. Leave a gold tip as well.
I will leave a tip.
Okay. 2 of you head out of the Spire by Fire, out into now the sun is just setting. Night is about to kind of take over. Heading back to the Silver Time, the 2 of you go through the many closets worth of garments and clothing that Fabian keeps in reserve for his own use or specialized commission work, allowing the 2 of you to just completely dress to the nines. And you begin planning the possibility of meeting up with Tuyin and joining her for an evening at the theater. Zadrin, what are you and Scrat up to at this point?
I would just full on steal.
I would have gone out the window and reverted back and pocketed the notes.
Okay.
But I'll come back around the side and be like, hey, Scrat, you know that cat wants to eat you, right?
I'm way too big for this guy to eat. I don't think he wants to do that. He likes me, don't you?
Oh
buddy?
no, he could.
It's a foul creature. You can take it with you if you'd like.
Oh, you want to leave this horrible human behind, buddy? You want to live with a nice?
No, I'm
steam?
talking about you, and I'm telling your friend to take you.
Come.
My cat. I need my cat. Even though I can't keep out large rats, I can at least keep out small mice.
I've never been so insulted in my life. Good day, ma'am.
I'm sleight of handing the cat and as many raven cages as I can loop with my tail.
Okay. Yeah. we'll say you whip out your tail along the front little latches of the cage, like the different cage entrances. Give me a sleight of hand as you do that.
That is a 25.
As 3 of the doors fly open, it begins to fill the room with the ravens. The little gnome's like, oh, shit! And she's like swatting at the ravens, trying to get them back. Your tail curls around the belly of the cat, and you just leave the store with the cat.
Hey, buddy, what's your name?
Scrat, I was serious. He's going to eat you.
He is 6 pounds. I am 4.5 feet of I am a rodent of unusual size. I am not scared of this guy.
Okay.
He watches a fire swamp gas thing goes off.
Whatever you say, Scrat, whatever you say. Shall we head back to the Silvertine?
So, well, I want to keep kind of Soren in front of me, just kind of let the cat perch on my shoulder, and I kind of want to take a peek at the piece of parchment that I stole.
The little folded up one from one of the cultists.
Yeah, just see if I can read it or if there's anything that stands out.
On the way back to the Silvertine, coursing through and back towards the Core Spire, or back towards the Lucent Spire, you unfold the paper. As you unfold it, it is a decently drawn sketch of the person you know to be Sarai. At the bottom, written in common, this is the person I need you to acquire for me. Do it cautiously and do it carefully. And then at the bottom it says, signed, Crimp.
Ooh.
As 2 of you arrive at the Silvertine, you catch Fabian and Elegon trying on different evening wares as they kind of fill you in on their evening activity and the upcoming of going to the Dreamscape Theater.
I am exhausted with the thought of trying on all those clothes. And oh my God, Fabian, don't you do anything other than try on clothes and make clothes and clothes and clothes.
I just don't know, Fabian. I feel like the red is more flattering to me than the blue. But I'd appreciate it if you could do a quick tailor on it because it's a little baggy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would want to make you look as sharp as possible. And what's wrong with trying to bring a little bit of sparkle to this disgusting town we tend to live in?
I don't have a problem sparkling, remember?
Yes, but not everyone can, so someone has to do it for them.
Look, I was able to procure with Scrat's assistance, I was able to procure all the letters that I could find with sent to Sarai. There were 4 of them in total. They're all wrapped here. Perhaps we should all take one and have a read.
So about that, this is I found a note on that guy that you really sucked at looting. By the way, they're looking for this. Seriously, man, your skills suck. They've got like a really just beautifully drawn description of this Sarai gal, and man, like seriously, where the fuck did you learn to thief? This was in his belt pouch. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'm talking to the cat now. I'm like,
Yeah.
You can start eating anytime.
This little guy.
It's now licking. It's like licking, Scrat's ear. Like takes off a kind of like does a bite into the ear and draws a little bit of blood and starts like licking at it.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I know you're not used to like my big skaven ears. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm not mad at you.
I love how Scrat now has a pet cat that thinks that loves him and is actually in anticipation of eventually eating this giant rat. So you guys watch as Scrat shows you the little writ that he had discovered on one of the cultists. In common, it says, "This is the person I wish you to acquire." It's a picture of Sarai, neatly drawn out in a sketch, and it appears to be signed by Crip.
don't know that I like the phrase acquire here. That's not great, right? Like I'm not the only one that thinks that's just not a great way to put that, right? Right?
That is the second time we've heard that name today.
And what we have been hearing is that Crimp is an Ivory Syndicate artificer. This seems...
Or at least works for him, yeah.
Or at least works for them, but this all seems, even for the Ivory Syndicate, pretty bizarre.
Well, perhaps these notes can help us establish more motive. So I've passed out all 3 of them. I'm holding on to the 4th to open it up and read it. I assume it's like fortune cookies, It's just.
I mean, yeah,
and
it's all simply written in common. There's nothing too fancy about it. They appear to be order requests. The rookery stamp up in the corner indicates that it's from the rookery of Bassaris. Their orders for supplies that she was working on. They keep referring to the liquid powder as a liquid kind of explosive, and it's volumes, amounts, destinations. It appears to be orders for whatever she was working on. There's no name. They're dated. They would have come in 1 per day since the fire. So there's one that was probably there on the day of the fire and 3 additional ones. So they're dated within the last, 1 to 4 days over the course of their delivery. There's a feeling of strange kind of assumption that as you read it, they feel like invoices, they feel like orders, but in the bottom right-hand corner of each one of these little documents is a little wax seal with a kind of heavy stamped symbol. You guys are free to give me history checks if you want to try to figure out where these are from.
Sure. Nope. 6.
Nat 20, 24.
Nice.
I got a 23.
23.
Yeah. History's just
History checks and
yep.
I missed anything after that. So
yeah, we were just rolling dice. Give me a history check.
all right, sorry. Oh no. I'm rolling really good today. That is a 21.
Nice. What'd you get, Elegon?
23.
Okay. Elegon, Fabian, and Scrat, you actually recognize the emblem. It's a Bassaris emblem because it is it's the emblem of the Hellcatch Valley, the kingdom, that sit in power over the Hellcatch Valley. For some reason, my note for that has gone missing. I'm trying to figure out where it is. That is. Oh, good Lord, where'd it go? Let me go look at the map really quick. Oh, that's right. I put it there. Never mind. It is near a region called the Gujar Sarai, near the Rift. And up in the mountains of the Rift, it is a place of, how shall we say... Oops. You know what? I haven't cleaned up our pinned messages in. I'm like, oh no, that's from our last campaign. That's right there. Pictures. Where are your campaigns? Exandria maps. There it is. It is from the region known as the King's Fall. That is the seat of power for the Hellcatch Valley, and you recognize it because it is a golden kind of throne with a sword emblazoned over the throne, and then the letter H emblazoned behind the throne, as this is the official kind of moniker for the King's Fall. With that, Is Scrat and Zodran joining for the theater as well?
I'm gonna have to I'm not going to go in like a legitimate way. I want to try. If I want to go in, look at me. I'm a 5 foot tall rat dressed in rags. I'm not doing that.
Fabian's like, I can fix that.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
No.
You can't make him not a rat.
How am I gonna? Okay, I'm leaving the cat here. I will not leave. I will not take my new precious baby into danger. Is it that right, Scratch?
It bites his finger, just
We'll work on
slurps
that.
at the wound.
His name is Ratcatcher.
I mean, well, he's a cat. It's not like he's gonna respond to me anyway. I mean, you have dealt with cats, right? But anyway,
I've told you the cat is trying to eat you.
Yeah, whatever, man. Uh-huh. But so I want to try to find a way to sneak up to the balcony. Basically, be a sentry up there.
So you'll be looking to sneak into the theater while the others join legitimately. Gotcha.
Yes.
Zodran, are you joining them or are you looking to do something else?
Well, let me look at the length of time on. Okay, I can wild shape for 2 hours. So I'm thinking I would ride in on one of them. I'll wild shape when we get there to ride in on one of them, and then be sneaking around in the theater while everything else is going on.
With that, Fabian and Elegon, dressed to the hilt of the evening, wearing some of Fabian's most infamous silver time attire. Scrat kind of following in the shadows with Zodran walking behind as well, as you guys head back over to the core spire and begin your walk towards the theater. And that's where we're going to finish tonight. It's a good spot to finish because the theater is going to be a fun culmination. So don't forget to do your Hero Forge figures for me, Elegon and Fabian. If you want to go with a generic Elven figure, I've already got a trillion of those on hand. So,
but if you want to make a fabulous Elven figure,
if you want to make a fabulous Fabian figure, by all means, please. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Sunday for part 2 of our one-shot foul play. I will see what kind. Do you like that play on words? Foul play, the theater.
Oh,
it's almost like I knew what I was doing. But we'll be back with part 2 next Sunday, and then the following Sunday we'll be off, and then we'll be back with Tally on the 20th. So everyone have a great rest of your evening. Be kind, be safe. Don't forget to play a game. You guys go ahead and linger, and we'll chat. Good night, everybody. Ooh, one of these days, just press